of all things, there's a few things I came on here to show today, and what I want to say is I was going to do a little continuation of the series about carving the Santas here. I've got them in the floor here, but unfortunately it turns out that I've kind of used my knives so much carving bears, and I'm going to show you the bears I've been working on. They're right here, and I've kind of added my slogan and my initials and the year and the wood underneath, and so this is how these are just coming out so far, and that's how I'm doing with that work. And as y'all are going to see, I've got so much more to show here. It just so happened that since my knives have been used so much and probably can't really carve with them immediately, that is probably the reason why I've decided I just might come on here today and maybe just talk to you while I sharpen knives. So I got out my Arkansas stone here. I'm going to get started. Got 20 of the strikes here. $20 there. Go on to the next knife and go $20 this way. $20 that way. And it's kind of hard to talk while you're doing this, but here's how it's going to go. I want to tell you all that my baby niece is coming to town tomorrow with my brother and his wife. This will be the first time I've seen my niece in person. I've seen her virtually a few times, but that's kind of why we're getting the house together, trying to get it ready for her. Also, I have a show coming up this week in Versailles, Kentucky. I'm going to be going over to Journey Church for a show where I'm going to be kind of showcasing my work and putting it on display for people to see. I will tell you all, there's probably one knife I forgot to bring in here. It's probably over there on the couch, but it's the one with the big blade. It's no big deal because we've got all the good ones to use here once we get around to doing the Santas again. And I'll tell you all a little something else as far as how things are going. Things have been going fine at work. I've been cutting out some more blanks to carve some more bears from. I've been cutting out some blanks to carve some horses from. It's been a while since I carved any of those, but just trying to kind of get back to doing it, and kind of had some blanks cut out to cut some cardinals from. Hopefully I'll get around to a little bit more of that, maybe after Christmas. I'd say here I've got 20 strikes against the Arkansas stone with each of these knives. Probably a good moment in time to try to get a little bit of it done with the ceramic stone as well. Try to get 20 strikes in with that. That's how that goes. you ever get the chance to try to keep up with my Facebook pages, I've got a page up that's about my stuffed animals as well that I kind of sew from the jeans and the old denim and the recycled materials. So it's kind of how that works along, and hopefully you'll get to see some of that when you look. Got 20 strikes this way. That way. And I will tell y'all, there's a little something I'd like to share with you interesting about this knife. It has my name on it. One thing about that one is an old wood carver friend of mine. He was out on a trip to Switzerland, and he got my name engraved into it there when he was out on a trip there, and brought it back to me from Switzerland. So it's a real good sentiment, one that's just always going to mean something. I would like to say I think the reason he got it was probably because I was trying to carve satin wood from X-Acto tools, and I was just a beginner at that time. X-Acto tools were the best things to start with, but you know, you just kind of have to use better tools as you go further along, and you know, have better tools to work with different kinds of wood. So X-Acto tools weren't the best thing for the satin wood as I was working with or trying to at the time. So I kind of had to learn to sharpen tools, get better at using more tools, not always use those tools where the blades are replaceable. I got 20 on this side with the little leather strop. Think I'm going to try to get 30 with this. Well, I ended up getting 40. I just kind of lost my count there. Think I'm going to go 40 on this side too. And there is one particular book I read where they say that it is recommended you do 5 minutes of sharpening for every 30 minutes of carving, and they recommend you do 50 strikes on the leather strop. That's probably when you're not using all the stones and other things to try to sharpen your knives better. So I think I might do 10 more on each side. I still remember the first leather strop I ever had. The man who passed away recently was one of the first people to teach me how to carve, and there was a little thing he taught me about when he kind of donated me the first leather strop I ever had. It was an old one of his that he used for many years. I kind of had the knife going in the wrong direction, and it was kind of peeling at the leather, and he was asking me, "What are you doing?" I'd say as far as that went, it was kind of a different kind of piece of leather, an older piece. I once tried to use a piece of a leather jacket and put it on the back of a little piece of wood I had cut out with a scroll saw, but that was a little small and probably not the best thing to be using to try to sharpen a knife. The thing they say about the leather strop is that it is best for honing the knife, that once you get the blade sharpened up by the use of a much better stone or something, that's when it gets to the point where just the use against the leather strop will kind of shine it a little better, make it a little shinier, and carve a little better. I think I'm going to go 10 more on each side here. Got 11 there. That was probably one too many strikes, but I'd say nonetheless, it kind of did a little good. Go. That's how it goes. Go. And I got 10 more to go. The good thing to do is to hold your thumb on the back of the blade while you're moving the blade along the strop or the stone or whatever you're using. All you really have to do is just get down to the little narrow tip of the blade, and that's how it goes. I have some little interesting to share about this knife. You notice how the tip is a little bit different, but that's because when I was using it, it got chipped. I can explain that as I go a little further. I was using it to try to carve something very detailed out of locust. Some of those horses you've seen, they're not very detailed, so carving them out of locust was kind of simple to do, but I wanted to give myself a little challenge and try to carve something out of locust that was more detailed. I just enjoy challenges like that, but it's a hard wood, a dense wood, too dense a wood to be carving, so what it did was it chipped the blade of the knife. I could tell you about a time when I tried to carve Purple Heart too. It didn't really chip the knife, but that again was a dense wood, so what it did was it made the knife dull quicker and required a lot of sharpening after the job was done. And I tell you, with this last knife here, got another 10 more to go. There's probably one more knife that it might kind of make a little short stop in the video, or take me a while to go over to get if I were to try to sharpen it for this video. So I think I've probably done enough for the video by now, and shared with you all the things I need to share, all the things I need to say. It's all going well. I'm taking care of all things the best way I can, the best way they need to be. It's all good. It's all together. It's all in shape. And probably got on here and was able to say all I needed to say, share all I needed to share, and that just kind of helped me a lot, did me some good, helped me get through this work day and through this job, and all the things we need to say further on. It's going to do so much more good in the long run. So I'm just on here to finally say that At the end of the day, to those of you who need to hear this, to those of you who need to see this, I say take care and be safe.